Hey guys, how you doing? My name is John and welcome to my Gamster81 show. As you see behind me, I've got a bunch of my arcades. I'm in my garage and I'm a huge fan of arcades, and right next to me here is a MAME machine. Good friend Tim has let me borrow it. Tim owns Phoenix Arcade Repair and he's let me borrow it for the time being, so I'm kind of messing around with it. I'm going to kind of show you what this all includes. And for those of you who aren't familiar with MAME and what it does, the name MAME actually is an acronym, stands for Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. And you know, you gotta love Italians, man. They bring so much good things to the world. Great food like lasagna and spaghetti, and great artists and great cars like Lamborghini, Ferrari. But they also, Nicola Salmoria was the Italian software developer that actually came up with MAME back in 1997. So as you can see, it's got a kind of a weird paint structure. It's got kind of a tiger striped look to it. I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are probably thinking, this is kind of not me, right? And it's definitely interesting, to say the least. But I'll say one thing about this game, this arcade. It's great. So with all joking aside, let's take a closer look at what's on this machine and what it all includes. Now this is the control panel, the first thing I want to show you, and I want to show you all the buttons and what they do. When Tim builds these, they're actually built custom to your order, and this particular machine was built for an owner who enjoyed Q*bert. And so these are smaller than usual joysticks and what they use. Q*bert is a game that requires 8 directional pad, and that's what these are accustomed to. You can go into options and change that, obviously. So these are more built for Q*bert, but so when these are ordered, they come with different joysticks. But these are the buttons, 6 buttons. Each player has those. Here's a rollerball. This kind of uses as a mouse as well. Down here is your insert coin button. Each side has a flap as well, so you can. There's some pinball emulators on here as well. I'm a huge fan of pinball, so that's really cool. You can play pinball machines, and these are the flappers here. And this is the start. This is kind of your left click button here, and this is your start your game. This is to X out of your games. These buttons do different things as well. Sometimes you can pause the game by pushing one of these buttons as well. Pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, it's got the tiger, leopard look to it. It's kind of interesting. Let's check out some games. There's a button in the back that turns on the machine, and then you have to turn on the monitor. It's a pretty nice, really high quality monitor as well. And when it boots up, it goes to this launch screen. There's a PC in this cabinet. It's run off of Windows. This MAME when it first started in 1997 was run off of DOS. Eventually it's evolved. Now it's on Windows primarily. It's what you see most MAME cabs ran off of. There's also iOS. Microsoft also has MAME available for that as well. And when it launches, it starts off Q*bert. Like I said, this particular cabinet was built for Q*bert. But you can go. All the games are alphabetical. You can use the rollerball here, like a mouse. And you can categorize by how many times you played it, manufacturer, and year, or it's just automatically alphabetical. So there's a ton of games. There's a lot of repeat games too. Most every game you can think of is pretty much on here. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of arcades. I actually have a dedicated YouTube channel called Gamster81 Arcade where I plan on reviewing a lot of these. So if there's any arcade game that you want to see, certainly let me know. And if I have time, I'll certainly get to it. And let's see what else they have here. Let's see if I can show you some of my favorites here. Now the games overall, most games work fairly well. Some games work very well, and some games don't work at all. So you have to kind of be careful. You got to mess around with some of the ROMs. A lot of the racing games, like Virtual Racing or Daytona USA, there's no steering wheel included in this, so those aren't going to work. Now there's a USB in the back of the machine. I'm sure there's a way you can hook up a steering wheel and get those to work. Same with light gun games like Virtual Cop or any of those kind of games. Those aren't going to work either because there's no light gun. So even though they're on here, they're not necessarily going to load up and play, which is kind of a shame. Here's Sunset Riders. You can see there's different versions here. Let's boot it up. It's by Konami. It came out in 1991. Also kind of cool is if you can go to click on the game here, it's going to show you a snapshot of the game. And a lot of the games have like a flyer included, as this one does, flyer. You can see sometimes they have a cabinet. You can see a picture of the actual cabinet, the marquee, control panel. Now those are on every game, but a lot of the games they have those. It's kind of a nice little extra thing they have that they included. You double click on it, you have to insert coin. And And there you are. You pick your player. I love this. I love this game. Now, one cool thing, I'm going to exit out of here. And this is where you control your joystick mapping. You can go 8-way, 4-way. It's automatically on 8-way. 4-way is probably the best for most games. 8-way, just hard, like Pac-Man and stuff. It's hard to play on an 8-way directional joystick. Also has Super Nintendo on here as well. It's got pretty much every Super Nintendo game ever made on here. You go to load. It's all alphabetical. Let's pick up one of my favorite games here. Double click. Now it's a little hard and tricky to play this game on using the joystick and buttons. Definitely, I can figure it out. I could figure it out, but it's a lot better to play on a controller, I feel. But still really cool. It plays great. It's pretty cool. Classic game. It's also got Nintendo games. You can open up Nintendo. It runs off of Nestopia emulator. Just go to File, Open. And these are the list of ROMs here. They're already loaded up on here. Bases Loaded, Baseball Stars, one of my favorite. Has N64 emulator too. It's got pretty much every N64 game ever made. You can see there's not a lack of entertainment on this thing.
It's me, Mario. Hello.
Now the button layout is obviously a little different. You can map the buttons to work however you want it. It's got a feature pin and visual pin, which is cool. These are the virtual pinball machine games I was talking about. Go to File. Some of these are fan made, and some of these are like remakes of traditional ones. And you can customize it and change it. You can even build your own pinball, which is really neat. Display table.
Come with me now, my son. Let me break through the bond of your earthly confinement.
You can change the camera angle. See the camera angle there. See the hologram, that's cool. Insert the credit. To launch your ball, you just push the bottom right button here. So that's really cool. And it sounds really good on those. That's the better of the two pinball emulators. The one more of the visual pinball. It's not nearly as good. It's got a lot of the classics. It's not nearly as loud either. But it's based on the classic Williams machine. It's called Daphne. This is a pretty hard emulator to come by. These are the games on it. It's got Dragon's Lair, Dragon's Lair 2, games like that, you know. Mech 3, Superdome. Basically a lot of these classic ones. Started up. So if you're a big fan of these kind of games, arcade games, that's cool that this is included as well. And here we are, Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Looks really good.
A fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the...
I've never been very good at this game. Get your coins in. So So anyway, I just want to say a big thank you to Tim for letting me borrow this arcade. Definitely check out his website, phoenixarcaderepair.com, or just phoenixarcades.com for short. And we'll see you guys soon. And I'll have another video up soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming and take care.